Peace, people. Welcome to Always for Black Radio. And I'm your co-host, Sool. I'm about to get my partner, Miss Baaba, on the line. Hey, Miss Baaba, you there?
Yep, I'm back in full effect. I'm back by popular demand. We in here.
What happened? You went to the basement or something? Like, 'cause you was there, and all of a sudden you dropped. What happened?
You know what? I had to give a little shout out to Mikael real quick, so I went in the basement to tell him what's good. That's what I did.
No doubt, no doubt. Just let me know. How the music in the back? Is it okay? Can you hear it?
It's hitting for it. I like it. Good volume.
You can hear it is good?
Mhm.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Just make sure that my mic is turned all the way up.
All the way up. Now, is it going to be all
right.
the way up like the Dave Chappelle headphones, or all the way up like Remy Ma and Fat Joe?
Remy Ma all day, every day. You already know.
I shouldn't even ask that. I know you're a Remy Ma fan.
Right, you know it. You know, fanatic.
I like Remy too. I mess with.
She's holding it down for the Bronx right now. Right, she's holding it down for the Bronx, and I think I don't know. Has anyone even seen Nicki lately?
Have anybody seen who?
Nicki Minaj.
Oh, Nicki. I don't know. I haven't heard too much from her lately.
Just how I like it.
You're not a Remy Ma fan?
Oh, I'm
You're
a
not a Remy Ma fan?
I just don't.
Oh, excuse me. I mean Nicki Minaj.
Fan. No,
My
that's
bad.
like
I meant Nicki
rap.
Minaj. Yeah.
Nah, that's bubblegum rap. I'm sorry. I don't feel it.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Remy fan either. She have excuse me, I keep saying
Remy or Nicki?
I mean Nicki. I'm not the biggest Nicki Minaj fan either. She got a few joints I like, but other than that, it's whatever. But anyway, how did you like that remix anyway? The All the Way Up remix with Jay on it.
Yo, I've been blasting that thing for the last, I don't even know how many days. As soon as I found out about it, which was only a couple days ago, I must have played that remix like 1,000 times. I know it word for word. Not really, but I be acting like I know every word. word. It's fire.
I thought Jay verse could have been a little bit better. You know, it was okay. It wasn't trash, but it wasn't nothing to really write home about either.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think a lot of times a lot of people give him so much props because he's a veteran. So they're like, you know, it was ill for him to be on the track or whatever. But I will say that he did big up his wife and shout out her album, Lemonade. And I was like, oh, that was a very strong move on his part. Yeah. But anyway, back to this, you know, I'm just glad we got all the tech issues figured out. Hopefully I didn't jinx it. And, you know, hopefully everything else go correctly because, you know, people, y'all just don't know what we had to go through to do this show tonight. You know, but we in it for y'all. Tell me about it. Yeah.
We in it for y'all. Like the NBA Finals is tonight, and I'm still going to do the show. You know, it's not going to be too long because I got to catch the game. But, you know, I'm dedicated to you. I'm sitting in the chair that might fall down right now, like because the legs is weak. But, you know, we ain't going to let none of that stop us. You know, because like DJ Khaled said, they don't want us to win. They don't want us doing Truth to Power shows.
Right. We've
been
thrown everything in the book, but let me tell you, I love it because it just makes us go harder. Like, we really, when we tell you that the struggle is real, the struggle is real. Oh, my God. But shout out to everybody who's been supporting us all since day one. All my day ones that, you know, continuously checks up on Always for Black and asks what we're doing next and if they can help in any type of way. I love y'all for that.
Definitely. And before we get started, I just want to let the audience know what we've been up to. We have alwaysforblack.com, and all is 2 L's, ALL4FOR, waysforblack.com. We have Always for Black Radio, where we play nice music, nice and smooth music. We got good hip-hop on there. Great R&B. You know, we'll just get you through your workday. Like, I was at work today. I had my headphones on, my little Bluetooth headphones, and I was rocking with my own radio station today. That's how I was doing it.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Y'all can do the same. Like, that's all you gotta do is go to alwaysforblack.com. We have Always for Black Radio there. Just click on it. We have the app. We have the app for
Android users. Yes, and the iPhone app will be out soon.
Absolutely. I had to put the music back on too, since we're talking about Always for Black Radio. It just, man, I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed if you tune, man. Like, don't listen to that bubblegum radio station stuff. We got the real for y'all, and it's only gonna get better, you know, because we just had it up for maybe a month and a half or so.
Yeah,
or midnight even
there.
maybe around there.
Somewhere
it's only going to get better, people. We got a lot of stuff for y'all. We grinding so hard for y'all right now. I can't wait to share what we got in store for y'all next. Make sure you hit up our Facebook page, because we putting up great articles, great videos on the Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter, and go to our YouTube page too, because we're going to be putting up a ton of videos there. And, in a few months, we're hoping to do something special with our YouTube page too. We got a lot of good stuff in store for y'all, man. We work on some big things. So we know we do a lot of lighthearted shows, and we got some more shows coming too, different ideas. I'm telling you, we got a lot in store for y'all. But today, we're going to do a serious show. It's going to be kind of heavy, because we got to talk about stuff like this. We're going to talk about the Freddie Gray case, but we also going to talk about the Blue Lives Matter case. And bills like this just irks me, because it's a real insult, because they trying to paint a picture that's not there.
Right.
And they always do this. They try to say that police is under attack, but the numbers just don't back it up. And I know my co-host is going to get into that right now. I'll let you take it from here, because, I might need the mic for a second.
It's about damn time.
The volume is low, so I'm going to pretend like I ain't hear that, but I'll let you slide on that one.
Yeah. But let's get serious real quick, because this story is ridiculous, and I can't believe. I mean, I can believe it. I'm not saying that it's unbelievable. It's sad. It's really sad. And what we're referring to is the fact that Louisiana House Bill 953, or the Blue Lives Matter bill, passed by a Republican-controlled legislature exactly a week ago from today. So last week, Thursday, this Blue Lives Matter bill went into effect in Louisiana, and it was signed by the Louisiana governor, John Bel Edwards. Now, let me tell you exactly what this bill entails. Basically, it's a whole bunch of fuckery. We do have the hate crime law, right? And the hate crime law was initiated to cover the protected classes, right? And the protected classes, they encompass characteristics such as age, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, national origin, and ancestry. And all those things that I just mentioned, all those 7 things I just mentioned, are all immutable things, which means that these are things that are unable to be changed. Now, with this Blue Lives Matter bill in Louisiana, the current hate crime bill in that state also covers law enforcement and first aid responders. So that, to me, doesn't even make any sense, because how do you put immutable things with something such as a job title, which is a job title by choice? Now, before we go into any further discussion, so I did want to throw this question to you. What do you think about them even naming the bill, or nicknaming the bill, the Blue Lives Matter bill?
Well, you know what that's about. It's a straight insult. And they try, like I was saying earlier, they trying to paint a picture that's not there. They try to make it seem like police is under attack. And if you go to the FBI website, you can see that murders of police officers dropped from 2014 to 2015. The numbers I got was there was about 51 murders of police officers in 2014, and in 2015 there was 41. Excuse me, or 2014 was 51, and 2015 it was 41. So it decreased, and it decreased even more from the 90s. So these is higher numbers. It just doesn't back it up at all. 100 unarmed black men was killed by police officers in 2015. Black men make up 6% of the population, but we make up 40% of individuals who get killed by law enforcement that are unarmed. So these are higher numbers that backs up what we're saying. Unlike what Fox News do, they just want to paint this picture that environments is dangerous for police officers so they can pass these nonsense laws like this. If you remember, we did a story last year talking about how they trying to make it illegal to videotape police officers in the line of duty. Now, why they want to do that? They want to do that because it's embarrassing to them. Not because they get in trouble, because most of these individuals never get brought to justice. They never even go to trial. So it's just an insult all around. And this is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. And we got to stop stuff like this. A lot of times we wait till it's too late. Like with the stand your ground law, we waited till it was too late. We waited till Trayvon Martin got murdered. An innocent black teenager got killed over a law that should have never been passed because do not enforce the law evenly. Now, and also with this a law like the Blue Lives Matter bill, what it's going to do is basically going to further the prison industrial complex, because in the law, if you get charged with this, you can get 5 more years in prison. You can get $5,000 fine, and even for a misdemeanor, you can get 6 more months in prison. You can get a $500 fine, and this is because a lot of these states got deals. They got contracts with private prison companies, and in these contracts, it's a stipulation to say that the prison has to be in a certain capacity. So also give incentive for state legislators and governors to pass nonsense laws like this, because it's a big money. Right. It's a big money industry. Private prison is big money, huge money. Like Columbia University, I believe it was Columbia University, made news last year because they was one of the first schools to divest all funds from private prison. So this is a lot of companies got stock in this, and we got to fight back for this. We got to fight back. So, Ms. Baaba, I'm going to throw it back to you. What do you think we can do to fight back against laws like this?
Well, I think that answer is really twofold. The first and foremost thing I think is important is for people to just be aware of the issues. You know, this is not a story that most people are aware of, and that's why we have media outlets, black independent media outlets such as Always for Black, who's highlighting these stories to, number one, push these things into the forefront. Because as you can see, this can be detrimental. Yes, you can say it's only one state, but at the end of the day, that's how a lot of things take place. They go state by state, and then soon you'll see that it's a federal thing, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So number one is just being in the know. Number two is also being able to pool our resources, our financial resources together, and in that aspect, we're able to put money and throw money towards these politicians who are in these positions, because if we're going to wait for them to do the right thing, to do the moral thing, that's never going to happen, because we've been waiting for God knows how long, and you don't see any type of changes in our favor. You understand? And this is it's serious. It's been serious. It never stopped being serious. So until we're able to put money, throw money to these politicians and force them to do the right thing, we're always going to be in this situation. And then also, we have an obligation to make sure that we're raising up a generation, that we're mentoring our younger family members, our younger neighborhood children, anyone that comes to you or looks up to you, make sure that you're pointing them in the right direction and trying to bring them up in a way where they come of age. You know, even before they come of age, they already have it in my mind. I want to be the mayor. I want to be the governor. I want to be the next president of the United States. Because until we have our own people with our own, I don't want to say agenda because when I say agenda, it kind of sounds shady. But when I say push the black agenda, what I'm meaning is for social justice to take place, for our plight to be destroyed. And that's what we would have to do. We would have to raise these children with the mindset of, okay, this is the current world that we live in. How can we fix this? Let's go ahead. When I grow up, I wanna do something to make a change. That's my opinion. What is your thoughts on this, Sool?
Well, I agree with everything you just said. You talk my type of language when you're talking about funding our politicians, because we think about politics wrong. We think about this like the old days, just, you know, one vote and just voting will do it. No, voting will not just do it. We have to hold these politicians accountable, because oftentimes we vote and we don't hold their feet to the fire. What we have to do is we have to primary some of these people that's not doing what they're supposed to do. An example in Baltimore, I'm going to get into Tawanda Jones and Abdul Salam in Baltimore, what they did. And these are individuals that was partially the reason Marilyn Mosby got into office. And as you see, she charged those 6 officers in the death of Freddie Gray. Now, would another prosecutor or DA would have did that? It's probably not, because it usually don't happen. And we're going to get into that pretty soon too. But that's right. One of the things we have to do. We have to really create a real black lobbying group, not just like the NAACPs, but a lobbying group that's strictly for black people and not ashamed to say it, and really get what we need to get. Now, we have to do it like take examples like whether you like gay marriage or not, whether you for it or not, they was very effective in their strategy. First, they got Don't Ask, Don't Tell appeal, and gay marriage became legal in all 50 states. Why? It wasn't just because they said we want to get married. It's because they funded politicians. Now, we have to get in the game, especially we can do this locally. We definitely can do this locally, fund the politicians that need to be funded. And another way is just to get the word out and kill it at its birth, basically. Before you even get to this point, we can stop it if the word is out. If we involved enough in politics, if they know that there's going to be consequences for doing stuff like this. Like, so right. It's a lot of things we can, it's definitely a lot of things we can do. We could do about it. We can boycott. I mean, check this out, right? They boycotted North Carolina for that gender law, right? With the bathroom law. So different people, different corporations said they wouldn't do business in North Carolina. Why can't we do that with black people? This law is, in my opinion, is worse and actually more dangerous, because lives is at stake with this.
Exactly.
So that's one of the things we have to look at. I love New Orleans. I really do. But maybe we have to look at boycotting the state of Louisiana. Maybe they lose some money, but we don't really a lot of times we really don't think about stuff like that. And it's just crazy. What do you think about that? Like, because you saw what happened in North Carolina. It was a big uproar about that with the discrimination. But in this case, it's pretty silent. And maybe it's because the law of North Carolina was outright with it. In this law, they just trying to say, oh, no, it's just to protect police officers. But what do you think about that?
I think it's crazy, and I think everyone, you know how Bill O'Reilly, his show, they call it the No Spin Zone, and that's obviously, that's what he calls it. They try to say the No Spin Zone, and all he does is spin things he puts his own spin on things. That's exactly what it is. It's wordplay. It's semantics. But we have to get beyond that, because you can say one thing but then mean another. You know, and there's a lot of double talk that these politicians do. There's a lot of double talk that white supremacists do. There's a lot of dog whistles even that they even speak when they speak. So they're not going to ever, not too often will they ever be outright overt with it, but you have to be smart and understand that it's all wordplay. You understand? So it's just like, you cannot take anything that they say for face value. And it's not even hard to find out what's really going on. All you have to do is listen to our show, number one. And then number two, you can do your own research. You just Google this information. But just make sure that you're finding it from a credible source. If I'm having an argument with you or a debate or just any intellectual conversation, and you're quoting a Facebook post that you saw, and it's not even something real, then that's just deteriorating, like, what is, you're taking away from the argument. So just be in the know. Just be mindful of these things, because that's all they do. And let me go ahead and just say a few more things that I wanted to make sure that I got out there, because I know this story is not in the forefront, so I want to make sure I give y'all, the audience, as much information as possible. Now, we were asking what it is that we can do about it. Well, as you guys all know, that there is the Black Lives Matter movement, right? One thing I was not aware of is the fact that they do have organizations within it, right? And one of them is called the Black Youth Project 100, and there is a New Orleans chapter who came out and expressed their disdain. They gave heavy criticism of this Blue Lives Matter law. And yeah, we can look at it and say, okay, they despised it, they criticized it, now what? But if there's something that you want to do and you feel like this is not right, why don't you Google them? Why don't you look them up and see, okay, how can I support them to further their cause? Because there's an actual group that's willing to fight against this, and they may just need funds or ideas and more people, to go ahead and assist them in doing so. So since we know, and I'll say it again, it's called the Black Youth Project 100, and it's the New Orleans chapter. You can look them up. We can post a link on them on our Facebook page. So visit Always the Black for that, and let's go ahead and support them in doing this, because this is something that cannot continue to happen. Number one, I'm so sick. I'm really sick to my stomach to know that a Blue Lives Matter bill even passed to begin with, because we already know their reasoning for it, saying that there's an increase in hostility towards police, is unfounded, because if you look at the crime stats, just as Sool had mentioned from the FBI website, it shows that there's been a decrease, an actual 14% decrease in officer killings, and that's just from 1 year, just from from 2014 to 2015, so it's just like, we just have to be smarter. We just have to know exactly what's going on, and don't take anyone's word for it. I wouldn't even want you to take my word for it. Go ahead and look up the information yourself. But then also, I feel like this Blue Lives Matter bill is null and void, because crimes committed against law enforcement and first aid responders, they're already taken more seriously anyway. So there's really no need to have this extra protection for some fake, phony increase of hostility, which is completely untrue if you look at the stats. You know what I'm saying? So it's ridiculous, and I think it's absolutely dangerous. Stats show that blacks are targeted and killed at a disproportionate rate from their white counterparts, and that's exactly why movements such as the Black Lives Matter was started in the first place. But on the other hand, you don't see cops. Too often we see cops are given a slap on the wrist for their injustices against us. And then also, I think that in order to combat this, first of all, we would have to squash this bill to make sure that we set a precedence to say, okay, Louisiana, that didn't work. They squashed that out. Let's go ahead and make sure that this doesn't try to pop up anywhere else. because we're going to have to check it. If we don't, it's just going to continuously grow and spread throughout the whole United States, and that's something that we don't want. And then also, I would even say that we should put forth a bill called the Black Lives Matter bill. I'm just saying that for instance, but we can call it anything. But why wouldn't we put out a bill that ensures that more severe punishment will be given to cops who falsely arrest, neglect, harass, accuse, or murder our people? That's how
I hear you. I hear you.
And I think I dropped Mike.
I hear you. A Black Lives Matter bill was issued in Milwaukee, but it was about education. Of course, conservatives then lost their mind about that, but I'll get into that another time. I might put that story in our Facebook page. But back to what we was talking about, yes, definitely support people that are fighting back. And I want to get in touch with this group in New Orleans. I might make a donation or whatever they say will be helpful to help fight this law. Now, I just want to see exactly what their plans is. Like, do they have a strategy and stuff like that? So I want to get in touch with this group. Speaking of supporting people that fight back, as I mentioned, Salam Abdul and Tawanda Jones, two individuals in Baltimore, fought back against Baltimore police. Now, Abdul Salam, he has a 3-year-old son with him, got pulled over. The cops abused him, handcuffed him, dropped him on his head. There was witnesses for this. He ended up suing them and got $70,000 in court. His case was proven in court. However, I don't think any of the officers went to jail behind it, unfortunately. Now, Tawanda Jones, her brother wasn't as lucky. Her brother was killed, unarmed black man killed by the Baltimore police. And she felt guilty because she let him use her Mercedes, and it might have been a case of just profiling. But she didn't stop there. She decided to form an organization, and like I said earlier, her group is partially the reason why Marilyn Mosby got elected into office. They supported her and they helped her get into office. And speaking of Marilyn Mosby, she's getting sued by Officer White and Officer Porter. What do you think about this suit of Marilyn Mosby, Miss Baaba?
Good question. I think it's absolutely bogus. I read this story the other day, and I saw the two officers they filed a lawsuit against Marilyn Mosby, but not only her, it's the Baltimore Sheriff's Office as well as the state of Maryland, and they're suing for $75,000 in damages. And they're claiming defamation and invasion of privacy. Now, let me just say that suing an attorney is highly unusual. And the reason being is because it's hard to prove any of these things. It's hard to prove. So when I first heard of the case, I was like, for what? Like, for why? I'm just not understanding where they're coming from. Because even if they feel like they didn't have a direct part in Freddie Gray's death, they were still a part of this in some way, shape, or form. So to sue her for defamation and invasion of privacy, I don't know. It just seems absurd to me. Do I think that they'll be successful? I highly doubt it. But again, the law is very subjective. So, and I'm just giving my opinion. I don't know law. It's just my honest opinion. But yeah, I don't think they'll be successful in that at all. What were your thoughts?
Right, and I don't know law either. I do have some friends that are lawyers, so I want to ask their opinions on it. But it just seems like to me they're trying to send a message that don't prosecute cops, because the cops that killed Eric Gardner, they didn't get prosecuted. The Darren Wilson, who killed Michael Brown, didn't get prosecuted. The cop that killed Tamir Rice didn't get prosecuted. So it seems like they trying to show her that, no, you stepped out of line. Because you look at CNN is always running a negative story about Marilyn Mosby, talking about she overcharged and maybe the case should have never even been brought to trial in the first place, which is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous,
exactly.
considering the fact that I looked up Baltimore seatbelt law. They changed it the year before Freddie Gray died, that if you're in the back seat of the vehicle, you have to be secure. You have to have your seatbelt on. Now, obviously, the police officers did not secure Freddie Gray properly. And that's
Right.
their own law of the state of Maryland. So something happened. And a trial was definitely necessary. It's not like this is a one-time incident. Baltimore police have been known to put suspects in the back of vehicles and go over bumpy roads. So
Yeah, the joyrides.
The joyrides. Yes, they known for doing this. So it's not like this was a one-time incident. So yes, of course it should have been trial.
Mm-hmm.
And also on top of that, we didn't have whistleblowers come out that former Baltimore police officers had became whistleblowers. I'm going to post a few of their interviews on our Facebook page, and they just talk about the culture of the Baltimore police. I believe his name's Michael Woods. He talked about how they under a quota. So when they under a quota, of course they're not going to go to the well-to-do areas, even if they might be, have a little drugs in them. They're not going to mess with them because that might be a judge's son. So they go to the hood and fill their quota that way. So, and I want to state this. I want the community to have a good relationship with law enforcement because I don't actually hate all cops. I know a few cops that are cool, and I think they play an important role in our society if done right. If they actually do have a relationship with the community, if they actually live in the community that they police in, it's an important role. But not what we're seeing now, because a lot of these cops is disconnected from the communities they patrolling. They don't care. As a lot of people are calling them, they basically race soldiers and not actually police officers. So, so that's the thing. I don't want people to hate all police officers, but we have to put an end to what's going on right now. And
exactly.
And it's discouraging because the first cop on trial got off. Officer Nero got off. He got off because the judge said that it's a black judge, by the way, but that necessarily don't mean anything. But he said he wasn't the detaining officer. Officer Miller was the detaining officer. So it sounded like a reasonable excuse, but then I think, okay, wasn't he involved in securing Freddie Gray in the back? But the judge said that in accordance with his training, he acted properly. I don't know. What did you think about that decision, Miss Baaba? And do you think, because the judge stated that he wasn't the detaining officer, do you think that Officer Miller would be found guilty?
Nope. You know why? Because anytime a person is, people get arrested, go to jail just for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? So say, for instance, you were with your friend and your friend decides to rob a bank, but you didn't call that robbery in. Guess what? You're going to jail too. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You're going to jail too. So why is it that they're supposed to preserve, protect, and serve, but they're not even held to the same standards? That's my issue. Be held to the same standards as every other civilian, every other U.S. citizen would be, and that's my issue right there. Yes, it's true that Officer Edward Nero was not the arresting officer. Just to be clear, Officer Edward Nero, he's one out of the 6 officers who's going on trial, and he's also one of the 3 officers who was there while Freddie Gray was arrested. I do understand that he didn't specifically arrest Freddie Gray. It was Officer Miller, but at the same time, you knew that Officer Miller had no reason to arrest him in the first place. So because you didn't say anything and you allowed that to happen, then some sort of repercussion should be. Hey, I'm sorry. I don't agree with the outcome of that case at all. I know that he was charged with quite a few different. He was brought up on quite a few different charges. He was accused of second-degree intentional assault, 2 counts of misconduct in office, and reckless endangerment. I honestly believe there was nothing to do with the murder or anything. These are charges that I think are very valid, and I do believe that he should have been found guilty. And that's the problem, because every time we situations, nothing is ever done. That's why people are coming out so strongly against Marilyn Mosby, is because she actually had the gall. She had the audacity, and I love it. She had the audacity to come out and tell these people, yes, what you did is wrong. I don't care what your situation is or what your title is. You know, what you did was incorrect, and for that, you need to be brought up on charges. It's unfortunate that the judge didn't see it that same way, but that's, I think, why people think that Marilyn Mosby was so. They feel like her charges were. They seem to be so extreme. It's because in most cases you don't see charges brought up at all. But these are charges that should always be brought about. And I think that's exactly the issue. That's exactly the issue, because we started this culture where it's okay for law enforcement to just treat us any old how, and we're just supposed to stand back and take it because we can't do anything ourselves about it, or else we may get killed, or we'll be jailed. And then also, you can't look at the law to do anything about it, clearly, as you can see, because this officer was found not guilty. So that's
and my thing
crazy,
is this.
Man. It's crazy.
Yeah, my thing is this. Like, I just don't trust the system. Like, legally, maybe it was reasonable doubt to find him not guilty. And I could even accept that if I believe the system was on the up and up. But I know it's not. See, that's the thing. Even if it is a good reason for a particular cop to get off, they then got away with so much. Like, I don't know if it's true or not. How can I know? Because I know a lot of people thought they shouldn't even been brought up on charges in the first place. Like we said before, we think that's ridiculous. So once you lose faith in the system, how can we legitimately say that any decision is right? Like, I know I can't. I just don't know.
Exactly. Exactly.
But before we wrap up, you have any closing thoughts, Ms. Baaba?
Yeah, I just wanted to lastly just say that I think it's important, because a lot of times we see, when you're able to do research and find out what's going on, it's also important that you try to find the reasons why. Like, we know that blacks are targeted at a disproportionate rate to their white counterparts, but why is that? We can say white supremacy, institutional racism, structural racism, and all those things can be true. And I don't think that it's going to be easy to change the mindset of someone who devalues a person because of the color of their skin, only because that's not a sane thing to do anyway. You understand? But if you look at the other reasons, like you stated earlier, Sool, you stated that a lot of these cops, they have to meet a quota, right? And in order to meet that quota, they'll go ahead and go into the black communities because they know that they don't have representation. They know that they may not bump heads with their higher-ups in doing that, or mess with their higher-ups' children in doing so, right? So how about we look at that whole system of having to meet a quota in the first place? Why should you have to meet a quota? And I understand that they rely on that money that comes from it, but that should be done away with also. You know, it's all these aspects we got to think about.
Yes, and it's been well known for decades in the black community that police officers plant evidence on black people as well.
Right.
We did a story about that.
Exactly.
This town in Alabama, was planting evidence on black people for decades and just came to light last year. But most black people already knew that. It's like, yeah,
exactly.
We know police plant evidence. And
right. It's sad but true.
yeah, so it's so much we have to fight. It's so much we have to look out for. That's why you need to support independent black media like Always for Black, because in the mainstream media, they're not going to bring it like this. They're not going to bring it like we bring it, or other independent black media either, or just some independent media in general. Independent media is the way of the future. So continue to support that. Remember, go to alwaysforblack.com. That's ALL 4 FOR ways for black. Alwaysforblack.com. Always for Black Radio, like I said, get you through your day, at work, or you just want to chill, relax in the house. We got good chill, relax music on there too. So
that's right.
Follow us on Twitter. Check out our Facebook page because we getting our Facebook page popping as well. So just stay tuned. We got some other announcements coming very soon. So this is Sool signing off. Peace, people.
Have a great show. See you next time.